You believe you are dealing with rational beings. You think logic is the key, that a well-reasoned argument can sway a mind, that facts can conquer emotion. This is the single greatest delusion that keeps you powerless. You are speaking to the mask, not the face. To control anyone, you must stop addressing the civilized person they pretend to be and start manipulating the primal, terrified, and perpetually hungry animal they truly are. The human creature is not an engine of logic. It is an engine of emotion, driven by two simple, brutal forces, fear and desire. Machiavelli did not write a book of philosophy. He wrote an operator's manual for this human engine. He understood that to control a man, you do not persuade his intellect, you seize his soul. And his soul is a territory governed by what he dreads losing and what he aches to possess. The dark psychology of control is not about force or overt commands. It is a silent, invisible art. It is the science of finding the hidden levers within another person's psyche and pulling them with such precision that they move in the direction you choose, all while believing it was their own idea. This is not a path to friendship or love. It is the path to power. If you are ready to discard the comforting lies you've been told and learn the cold mechanics of human influence, then your real education begins now. Secret 1. Identify their God, then become its high priest. Every person worships something. It is rarely a deity. It is usually an idealized version of themselves. Their secret God is the image of who they desperately want to be, the respected genius, the powerful leader, the desired lover, the untouchable stoic. This idealized self is their primary vulnerability. Your first task is to become a student of their religion. Listen to them, not to their words, but to the ego behind the words. What do they boast about? What insults do they react to most strongly? What kind of person do they praise? This will reveal the God they worship. Once you have identified it, you do not compete with it. You become its high priest. You become the one and only source of validation for that idealized image. You reflect it back to them, more clearly and compellingly than anyone else. You praise the qualities they want to have. You frame situations as opportunities for them to embody their ideal self. They will become addicted to your presence, for you are the only one who provides them with the intoxicating drug of self-realization. You are not controlling a person. You are controlling the reality that sustains their ego. Secret 2. Master the twin levers of fear and desire. All human action can be traced back to one of two motivations: moving toward pleasure, desire, or moving away from pain, fear. The master manipulator does not use one or the other. They use both, creating a state of perpetual psychological imbalance. First, you must identify their core desire, which you have already done, and their core fear. A man's deepest fear is rarely of physical harm. It is the fear of humiliation, of being seen as weak, of irrelevance, of losing status. You must learn to subtly press on this fear. This is not done with threats. It is done by demonstrating that you are an arbiter of the very status they fear, losing. You do this by making your approval a scarce resource. Then, you create a roller coaster. You grant them moments of intense validation, fulfilling their desire, making them feel powerful and seen. Then, you subtly withdraw, creating a chilling silence that triggers their deepest fear of having lost your favor. This cycle of bestowing pleasure and then creating the anxiety of its absence is the engine of obsession. They will focus all their energy on pleasing you, not because they like you, but to soothe the psychological torment of your potential disapproval. You are not just a person to them. You are the source of both their heaven and their hell. You have now learned to see past the facade of reason and to manipulate the core engines of fear and desire. You understand that control is not about logic, but about emotional dominance. Now, you must learn the specific tools of psychological warfare, the techniques that allow you to construct a cage of influence around your target. Tactic 3. Weave a narrative. They cannot escape. Humans do not live in reality. They live in stories. The person who controls the narrative controls the person. You must become the master storyteller. Your task is to weave a narrative so compelling that it becomes your target's primary reality. In this story, you are not a manipulator. You are the guide, the mentor, the one person who truly understands them. Their past mistakes in your narrative were not failures, but necessary. steps on their journey to you. Their future successes are attainable only through you. You must subtly rewrite their history and colonize their future. This is done by consistently framing events to fit your narrative. Isolate them from competing narratives by subtly discrediting the opinions of their friends and family, framing them as people who just don't get it. When your story is the only one they hear and believe, their actions will naturally align with the role you have written for them. They are no longer living their life. They are playing a part in your play. Tactic 4. Use their morality as a leash. Every person has a moral code they believe in, a set of values like honesty, loyalty, or fairness. The amateur violates this code and is seen as a villain. The master learns this code and uses it as a leash. To control someone, you must appear to be the ultimate embodiment of their values. If they value loyalty above all, you must stage small, calculated acts of loyalty. Then, when you need them to act, you frame your request in the language of loyalty, making refusal a betrayal of their own deepest principle. If they pride themselves on being fair, you frame your desires as the only fair outcome, forcing them to agree or suffer the psychological pain of hypocrisy. You are not bound by their morality, but you must become its most vocal champion. By doing so, you can guide them, shame them, and control them, all while they believe they are acting in accordance with their own conscience. Their virtues become the bars of their own prison. Tactic 5. Keep them in a state of hopeful uncertainty. Complete satisfaction is the death of control. A target who feels they have completely won your approval becomes complacent and difficult to manage. Target who feels they have completely lost your approval may give up entirely. The key to lasting control is to keep them in a perpetual state of hopeful uncertainty. They must always feel they are on the verge of finally securing your complete validation, but that prize must forever remain just out of reach. This is achieved through calculated ambiguity. Give them praise, but let it be slightly qualified. Show them affection, but let it be followed by a moment of unexplained distance. Let them feel they are close, but never that they have arrived. This state of almost there is the most powerful motivator known to man. It will keep them striving, guessing, and working tirelessly to close a gap that you will never allow to be closed. They are not chasing you. They are chasing a horizon you keep moving. You have built the psychological prison and conditioned your target to live within its walls. They are now orbiting you, driven by a cocktail of fear, desire, and a narrative you have crafted. The final stage of control is to make your dominance effortless, to transition from active manipulation to a state of passive gravity. This is where you become so central to their reality that the cage no longer needs bars. Execution 6. Make your presence their only source of stability. The world is chaotic and uncertain. You must position yourself as the only fixed point in your target's universe, their only source of stability and meaning. While the world outside is unpredictable, you are their anchor. You are the one who understands them, the one who provides the narrative that makes sense of their life. To achieve this, you must be the calm eye of their emotional storms. When they are in crisis, you are not swept up in it. You are the composed, logical strategist who guides them through it. They will become dependent on your stability. The idea of navigating the world without your guidance will become terrifying. Their freedom will begin to look like a dangerous, frightening chaos, while the world you've built around them will feel like the only true safety. Execution 7. Let their freedom be the final illusion. The most absolute control is the control that feels like free will. You must never let your target feel the chains. Every major decision they make must be one they believe they have arrived at independently. This is the masterpiece of manipulation. You do not give commands. You shape the environment. You control the information they receive. You frame the options so that the choice you desire is the only logical one. You plant ideas indirectly, through stories, through hypothetical questions, through praise of others who have made similar choices. You create a path, and then you watch as they congratulate themselves for having the brilliance to choose it. They will defend their decisions with a passion they would never have for a direct order, because they are defending their own ego and their illusion of agency. As Machiavelli knew, the subjects who believe they are free are the easiest to rule. The final state, psychological gravity. When all these secrets are woven into the fabric of an interaction, you achieve the final state of control, psychological gravity. You no longer need to actively pull the levers of fear and desire. Your presence alone is enough. You have become so intertwined with their ego, their ambitions, and their sense of reality that they orbit you automatically. Their desire to please you, their fear of disappointing you, and their belief in the narrative you've created have become self-sustaining forces. They are not controlled because they are weak. They are controlled because you have become the architect of their very sense of purpose. They are a planet, and you are the sun. They are not in a prison. In their mind, they are exactly where they are supposed to be. This is the dark, silent, and unbreakable art of total control.